Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Deepvue tutorial. Today we'll be going over one of our Deepvue proprietary indicators, and that is the Deepvue percentage from a moving average indicator. And this can help you in a number of ways, namely for position management, by providing an objective view about when a stock is extended from a moving average compared to its historical levels, and also potentially looking for those reversals so you can manage positions better or just be more aware of key price action changes. If you do find this tutorial helpful, please go ahead and leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. We'll be making a lot more of these tutorials. And if you have any ideas or topics that you would like me to cover, let me know down below in the comment section. Additionally, if you haven't yet picked up Deepvue, we have a special offer going on right now, 2 months for $39. You can visit deepvue.com to access this promo, and the link to that is down below in the description and popping up right now. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. You can see on my chart here, I've got my just normal chart here. I've got the 10 EMA, 21 EMA, and 50 SMA here. And then I've got the Deepvue percentage from a moving average indicator right here loaded. And to basically add this to your charts, if you don't have it already set up, what you want to do is navigate up to this icon here, give that a click, type in Deepvue, and then find the Deepvue percentage from SMA EMA, and you can give that a click, and that will add the default set right to your charts. We've already got one on display here, so let's kind of walk through what this indicator is, what settings you should use, and 2 specific use cases that I personally use this indicator for, both for looking at the indexes as well as looking at individual growth stocks like we have here with NVIDIA. So breaking down this indicator, we've got 3 different colors that you can choose from. And what this indicator plots is basically a histogram of the percentage of the close versus a moving average of your choosing. And going over and hovering, you can go ahead and click the gear icon. And this allows you to basically set the moving averages that you're using, as well as color code the different extensions. And what I want to do here is switch this to the 10 EMA. And this is what I find really helpful for managing individual stocks. And these numbers down here, these are the percentage extensions that you want to change the color coding for. So you want to kind of think about what's the normal variation in price action. You might want to go back in time, see big reversals previously, how far off the moving averages did we move before we kind of pulled back or reversed and started a downtrend. And thinking about that, you can then decide, what's normal price action, set a minimum amount. This will be colored in that green color. Obviously, you can customize that to whatever color you want, but I've got set up as green. Then a kind of second extension, maybe it's getting a little bit extended historically. That's the kind of value you want to put there. And then getting very extended, you can go ahead and put that level that will change it to the last color of your choosing. So let's go ahead and talk things through. Looking back at NVIDIA, and I find this with a lot of growth stocks with a similar ADR, 7% is kind of, can be normal price action. Getting above 10%, I want to be highlighting that in yellow, and then getting really extended, further than that, further than 10%, I want to be highlighting in that red color just to notify me as a kind of visual indicator that, hey, things are getting a little bit stretched, especially if the stock's already in a trend and has been trending for quite some time. Now we're getting, really, really stretched from the moving average. Maybe it's time to sell some into strength, or just be more aware that I might have to manage my position in the coming days and weeks. So going over to style, we've got these options here for you. You can change the colors of the different extensions. If you wanted this to be blue, perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as green, and you can do the same thing for the other extensions. You can also change the thickness of the bars if you would like to. I personally think the default setup is pretty darn good for this indicator. You can also adjust the visibility to see what time frames you see it on, but we'll just kind of leave that for now. And once you've got these settings set up to your liking, and we'll talk about another setup that you can use for the QQQ in just a second, you can go ahead and press OK. Okay. So we've got the indicator set up. Let's talk through a little bit more about use cases for it and how, I would use it to help me manage my positions. So first things first, this is going to measure the percentage extension from that 10 EMA, which is this thin gray line here. And this is a pretty key moving average that stocks in trend, especially the strongest stocks, will respect. And it's a good kind of indicator about whether a stock is extended or not. So as I mentioned, if it's kind of normal price action, I want to keep it green. If it's getting a little bit stretched and might pull back in the short term, I want it to be yellow. And when it's getting really stretched and might reverse like this, I want to highlight in red. So first things first, coming out of a large base or just starting a trend in the markets, this indicator can actually get to that yellow or red level. And that's actually kind of normal and actually good. It's showing momentum. It's showing a strong push upwards. It's showing a lot of demand. It's when the stock's already been trending for quite some time, a few weeks, few months, that then we see another kind of extension that you want to kind of take note and think about, hey, potentially selling some into strength, whether it's a half, whether it's a third, or just kind of being more hands-on with managing your position, being ready to sell in a weakness if a stock does put in some type of reversal like this. And looking at this run in NVIDIA, we had this strong breakout. We quickly actually showed some yellow here. It got, pretty stretched from that 10 EMA pretty quickly. But, this strength is good at this part in the trend. And it's actually a positive sign versus a potential sign to sell some into strength, depending on your goals. If you're a swing trader, you might be selling into that first extension. But if you're more of a position trader, want to hold for weeks and months, this initial strength is a good sign. There's the up 20% from the pivot, the O'Neill rule. It's kind of that same thinking where strength initially right off the bat is a really good sign that likely you're in a potential strong winner and you might want to hold it for a longer move. But as we get more extended in a trend, and even here we do get extended, but we're still just a few weeks from the base. It's when we've already had an earnings report, we're continuing to move up. And then we really see it ramp up, and we see this highlighted in red. We get all the way above 10% here from the extension. That's when you want to take note, and that's when reversals like this can happen. And depending on your style, your methods, you can be more proactive selling to strength when we do see an extension when we're further from a base. Because at this point, we're already almost 100% from the base. We've been in this trend for 2 months, 3 months here. So that's when you want to really take note of these extensions. The other way this can help you is very similarly to the upside extensions. You can watch the downside extensions, not necessarily as a buy signal, because personally for my methodology, I'm looking to buy strength and looking to buy uptrends. But these reversals where again we're seeing extensions from the moving average, and that signals a potential reversal. This can be the start of looking for a rally attempt, a higher low to form, a shelf up the right hand side to form, and that can be a potential entry point that we can take advantage of. So just like the reversals to the downside, we're looking for these reversals here. If we see a significant percentage below the moving averages to the downside, we can start looking for a potential trend change. But volatility is going to be really high here, so you kind of want to wait for that confirmation, higher low to form, reclaim the moving averages, whatever the signal is for your personal trading style. Moving back in time, you can see other times where we got really extended after earnings, and this doesn't always mean that there's going to be a downtrend like happened later on. This was after earnings, and what the stock needed was just to kind of consolidate, and it moved up a little bit further, but then it started this longer term 5-month base. So even if we get really extended, it doesn't mean the run is over, the longer term run. It just might mean that we need some consolidation, some time to kind of work off the excess, let the moving averages catch up to price, and then we can kind of restart that uptrend. And like I was saying here, we're seeing some extensions to the downside. Doesn't mean the correction is is over. We actually push lower from this point, but it's kind of the start of the end. And then here we're seeing some significant extensions from the moving average, but we're so early in this uptrend that's actually a good sign. And even though we do need to consolidate a little bit more, we then push up. We're seeing more extensions, but this power at this point is a promising sign as we're breaking out of this base. And we can draw in this pivot here. We break out of this base. We're extended in the short term from that 10 EMA, but we're so early in the trend that that's actually a promising sign. So that's kind of in short how I would use this indicator to manage individual stock positions, especially growth stocks with a pretty high ADR. So let's now pivot now and talk about the overall market, because this can be really useful in identifying trend changes, reversals, all that for indexes and index ETFs as well. So let's go ahead and collapse that one, open up this one, and bring up the QQQ. Now this indicator right here, I have it set to using the 50-day SMA. And again, you might need some experimentation to see kind of what moving average works best for you. But for the index ETFs, I like using the little bit longer term moving average. And very similarly to what we talked about with the 10 EMA on the individual stock, early on in a trend, early on in an uptrend, it's fine to see some extensions. But later on, that's when, if you see some extensions, we might need to restart a correction, pull back to moving averages, all this. You can see moving up the right-hand side in April through June of last year, we saw it get to the red point, and I'll let you guys know the levels of this that I use in just a minute here, but we're getting extended again, but this is after the stock's already been in an uptrend for quite some time, after the index ETFs has already been trending. So that's a little bit of a warning sign that, hey, we're getting a little bit extended. We might need to pull back. And sure enough, we had a correction after that occurred. So opening up the settings here, like I said, we're using the 50 SMA for this. You could also measure it based on the 20 EMA and find some values that works. And I like setting 4%, 8%, and 12% as my key levels here for the index ETFs. So that's pretty much it. Again, we saw it get visually extended here. We're seeing the red bars pop up. We needed to enter a correction for the short term, but then we restarted the uptrend, and this power early on was actually a sign that, hey, this uptrend in the longer term could have really nice legs. And sure enough, we pushed up higher. And moving back to the 2022 correction, you can see how it kind of helped you identify the turning points in these bear market rallies. It's not always perfect. And even here on the rally, we got really extended, and sure enough, we reversed down lower. And then again, we've got extensions to the downside, and that started that bottoming process. So it can be really helpful also for those index ETFs. So that's pretty much it for this indicator. I think it's a really helpful one, especially for managing positions both on an index level, knowing what should my overall market exposure be, as well as an individual stock level like we saw with NVIDIA. So hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. Let us know your comments down below. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and definitely check out that 2 months for $39 offer. Highly recommend it. It's my daily driver for everything, and is the best platform for swing and position growth traders. So definitely check out deepvue.com, and I'll see you guys in future videos. Take care.